Here is the answer to the Day 3 SAT prep question. We're given an equation, and because the equation has a ratio on both sides of the equals, it's an equation called a proportion. The question is, which of the following represents all possible values of x that satisfy the equation? This is simply saying solve the equation. Now, there are many ways to solve a proportion, but a really well-known one is called cross multiplication. Diagonally, x times 2 is 2x, and that will be equal to the product of the other diagonal, which is 2x multiplied to the x minus 3. Looking at this result, the right-hand side looks like something we can do the distributive property with. 2x multiplied by the x in the parentheses is 2x squared. 2x multiplied by the negative 3 is negative 6x. Looking at this equation, I see that it goes to the second power. This is called a quadratic equation. One way that we learned in algebra to solve a quadratic equation is to put it in standard form. That means transform it so that it has a 0 on one side of the equals. We can get a 0 on the left side by subtracting 2x from both sides. Negative 6x subtract 2x is negative 8x. Most people are more comfortable with quadratic equations when the 0 is on the right side of the equals, so let's simply switch the equation around. I notice that all terms can be divided by 2 to simplify the equation further. This quadratic equation is in standard form. One way to solve a quadratic equation that is in standard form is to attempt to factor the left side. The binomial on the left side does factor because both terms are divisible by x. Write down the x, that's called the greatest common factor of both terms, and then in parentheses, figure out the other factor. X times x produces that x squared term. X times minus 4 produces this negative 4x term. Now that we have factored form of our quadratic equation, we can apply the zero product property. The first factor, which is the x, might be equal to 0. Or the second factor, which is the x minus 4, might be equal to 0. That second factor is a very simple equation that can be solved for x. If x subtract 4 is 0, then x equals 4. We have discovered two solutions for x. The first is 0, the other is 4. We can see that that is choice B.